Hey, everybody. Hope you're doing well. So, I just finished watching a series called Dopesick. And while I was watching it, I was having massive heart palpitations and triggers and flashbacks to 1999 when I had a hell of a car accident in my Suburban and a cable truck hit me at 16 miles an hour, 180'd me into oncoming traffic and broke my seat in half. And so, being a very strong person and knowing what I know later, spirit beings came down and guided my car around so none of the incoming traffic hit me. It was like in slow mo. I felt it, but I later in a session saw it occur. And I was able to release some of the stuff I was holding on to early on after the car accident. And I was able to see that an accident can occur. And I had a strong feeling something was trying to take me out, because even a few days after the accident, I drove back and I sat there and I was looking up going, it's not happening. You're not taking me out. It's not happening. Then a few months later, I was in a healing session and I saw three beings come down both sides of my car in the front, and they just literally guided it around into position. But my seat's still broke in half. I still tore. But they just look like musculoskeletal injuries, and they were more concerned with the severe concussion that I had. So concussion, if you think about your head as an egg and you shake it, you're scrambling the egg inside of there, and it takes a very long time for things to find where they were before. And trust me, I experienced all of that. It was hell. So anyway, fast forward, my orthopedic sends me to pain management. And he not only sends me to pain management, he sends me to the head of pain management of one of the biggest hospitals here in DC. And it was just a privilege to get in there, if you know what I'm saying. So anywho, get in there, does all these nerve tests, sends me out with a bunch of prescriptions, and make my next appointment, fill the prescriptions, and I can't function. I go back the next month, same thing, does exact same test, sends me home with the same prescriptions, no matter what I'm saying about I can't take this med. This is not working for me. I would hear repeatedly over my visit times, are you a doctor? I'm a doctor, and I'm a specialist. I'm the head of this hospital. Did you go to medical school? Okay, then. This is the best thing on the market, and you're going to take it. And so I'm in acute chronic pain that I can't even explain along with this, and I'm attempting to follow his instructions, and I can't. I can't function. There was this little voice inside me saying, don't take that. Don't take that. Don't take that. So again, every single time I would go back, I would hear this. It's the best thing on the market. You don't know what you're talking about. So on and so forth. I would call my orthopedic back up. Now, mind you, I have a relationship with him, personally, professionally. His wife's a pediatrician. The rest of his family's primary care. We're all real close-knit clubs around here, okay? So anyway, I call him back. And he's like, well, you're under his care now, so you need to listen. Anyway, this went on for 2 years. And I could not take that medication. I wouldn't take it. I even stopped filling it. I loaded up on anti-inflammatories, etc., etc. And then after 2 years, I was in such pain that I called my orthopedic and I said, I don't care about your old boy network. I don't care. You need to run some tests on me, and you need to do it now. Something is wrong. So he did. And of course, I needed surgery ASAP. So I skip into the pain management for my appointment that was already set up. And I'm sitting there and does a test. He's like, well, you're not listening. You're not following my directions. And You would be better by now. Well, mind you, over this 2-year period of time, I started seeing the same people in the waiting room. And they were looking like I can't explain, death looking. And I saw that in them. And that was another reason why I was like, something's just not right here. Well, anyway, fast forward to my final. You're not listening, you're not doing this, blah, 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 blah. And I said, well, let me ask you a question. Because he was tongue lashing me, and I was feeling it. It was cutting me all over. And he was just energy spanking me. Big time. Big time. Shame, blame, game, the whole thing. And I had been feeling this now for 2 years with this person. But you know what? When you get in enough pain, you will stand up for yourself. And there I was in that moment. And I said, well, let me ask you something. Would it work on X, X, and X? Well, no, probably not. But you need to be following my directions. And I said, well, that is what I have. And then some. And they won't know till they get in there. More damage that's done. He clenched his fist and turned 50,000 shades of red. And I saw his entire body tense up. And he was furious that I called my orthopedic, who, again, they're in the old boy network. But they forget that I'm in some of that network too. But I never said anything about it. And he was furious. And I left that office and just peripherally took a look and never looked back. Now I'm in surgery. Get out of surgery. It's supposed to be an in and out procedure for this one shoulder. They can only do one at a time. I wake up. I'm horrible. Doctor comes in. He's like, look, I'm going to give you some more pain meds. I'm going to keep you overnight because there was a lot more damage in there than I realized. And you're going to hurt. And this is going to take longer to recover. I stayed 2 nights. Same thing. Get home, gives me prescriptions. One of them is the same prescription this other guy threw on me. You know what I'm talking about. And he said, look, because of your degrees of pain and the injuries, you've got to take this. Okay. I started taking it. Same thing. Couldn't function. Something kept telling me, don't take it. Went back to see him, and he's working on my arm. And he's basically in my face. You are going to take that because that is what you're supposed to take. It's #1 on the market. You don't know what you're talking about. There's nothing else that's going to touch it. And I'm like, I can't take it. He was mad. Came back again to him. Pretty much the same thing, but this time I think he washed his hands of me. He wasn't going to fight me anymore. Maybe because he knew who I was connected to in his world. And that wasn't cool because they were all about how their images were, okay? So fast forward now, and I'm watching this movie, Dopesick. And I'm like, excuse me. These MFers were getting kickbacks. They were getting trips. They were winning contests. It wasn't just about the reps. It was about the doctors too. And the more milling and pilling they could do of this medication, the better they looked to this company. But the company was owned by a very deceitful family who knew. And when I think about all the people that suffered and lost their lives over it, and it has no collar boundary, by the way, none whatsoever. And I would hear of people getting hooked, and I would see friends of friends that died over it, kids. It was becoming alarming to me. And when I watched this movie, and it portrayed a fraction of what I'm going to tell you I understand it to be, because I firsthand experienced it, fraction of what that family and that company was doing to literally get you hooked on their stuff and ruin you forever. And I'm going to tell you, it really triggered me. It triggered me. And I've had to really work on that. And so that my triggers don't turn to anger, I have to really think about how thankful I am that I communed with Spirit, my higher self, my soul team, who were telling me, don't do it. And yet all these other professionals were not only telling me to do it, they were forcefully, basically wanting to spoon feed it to me. And I listened to my inner self. Do you know why I couldn't get out of that hospital for 3 days? My IV was filled with it. I did not know that until many, many months later. My IV was filled with it. Now, I am very fortunate, very fortunate. And part of my constitution does not have an addictive personality. And I am so grateful that I listened and I did not fall into that pit, because I don't know where I'd be today. I would have overridden my inner guidance source, my God source protective services. I would have overridden it. And it may not be here. So I encourage you kind of to watch it. I did hear later it won some Emmys. That's irrelevant to me on whether I watch something or not. But it really helped me see something that I would not normally have watched and didn't even really know what it was truly about until I started watching it. No one really told me. I just saw it and thought, oh, what's this about? Like Michael Keaton. What's this? What's going on in here? The moral of the story is, please, while everybody out there might be telling you one thing, listen to the inner, your gut source, your higher self, your guide team, your God source antenna that is aligned to you at all times. You're the only one that can ignore it, by the way. Don't let anyone cover that up by letting this say, oh, well, I do trust them. Yeah. Maybe I should override this. No, don't. It will never steer you wrong. I can promise you that. And I live by it every single day. And I do not let anyone or anything influence me in any way, shape, or form. Because this is what I rely on. Even if I upset somebody or make them mad or don't go with the crowds. Family, friends, anyone, I still follow this. So while the energies are getting a little, just breathe, connect with your breath. Tap into your God source antenna. Allow yourself to expand beyond this 3D surface. And let this information begin to weave through and not get stuck. And it will tell you what to do on all different sensories. Will tell you what to do. You're a living, loving, walking light. Own that. And own that there's more to you than just this physical inner-outer computer system. Trust yourself. Trust yourself. All right. Please like, subscribe, and share. I'll see you on the next video.